Radiant bad
Rupture, but then you're just rupturing a support. I think
Dire team ban. Five seconds remaining. The green team's banning someone now. Five seconds remaining. The green team's banning someone now. Five seconds remaining. Bad dude's banning someone now. Five seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Five seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Five seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Five seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Weaver.
group up in this way that they want to.
Yeah, the way I look at this Weaver a little bit is Team Spirit's, they're playing against Gaming Gladiators, right? And what I've noticed a lot from Gaming Gladiators right now is you want Dyrachyo on the CK or Weaver, so they ban the CK. They take the Weaver away, and Dyrachyo's, he's really good, but he's really good at playing these aggressive style carries. That's mainly because we see Ace playing a little bit greedy too, right? So Dyrachyo can play a little bit faster, so I think this is very targeted to just take it away from Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, both teams have very similar three cores idea, which all three cores getting big.
Remaining.
But compared, for example, to Gaming Gladiators, Dyrachyo is doing the more space creating stuff, and in Team Spirit it's Solaro, so it's a little bit different for both teams. So it's very interesting that Team Spirit stealing this Weaver away, like from Gladiators, and Yatoro played an amazing Weaver like a few days ago. Like it was very strong.
I think we might be seeing Yatoro on the Weaver. You ban on heroes like Bloodseeker. I think the support Weaver, like, I mean, you care about Rupture, but then you're just rupturing a support. I think you would only ban this type of hero if you want to play the Weaver on core. Tofu is also getting like his 89th Morta game of the tournament, so I think that's like Gaming Gladiators. They should actually feel really comfortable right now with this opening.
I guess another thing about the Bloodseeker ban is that it kind of feeds into Gaming Gladiators' general approach to the game in terms of pace, right? This is a very aggressive carry that wants to fight and bring that pressure early. It doesn't mind diving towers, which I would say Gaming Gladiators have done more than any team this tournament. So It's very clear here that the teams are targeting different players. You pointed out you're banning carries when you're Spirit here and you're stealing one away, whereas as Denny was talking about, Laurel is playing more of the aggressive style for Team Spirit. Do you think Gaming Gladiators would be wise to try to match that idea, so to speak, by targeting Laurel as much as Spirit are targeting Duracho here?
I think the best idea would be to pick an extremely strong laner for Queen, which usually Gaming Gladiators do in every game, and it's working perfectly because Queen is one of the best laners out there for sure, without doubt. So I think this is a part of the plan, which should be to lock down a little bit on Laurel so he doesn't have a good game. Yeah.
I think if they go with that plan, they can probably look for the Enchantress here. I'm honestly surprised that they're giving it to Gladiators on the second phase. I think both Ench and Chen are two heroes that, if you have the winning mid, you can snowball the matchup really hard.
Yeah, it's one of the best heroes to rotate for 5 minutes siege and create insane amount of pressure. And we saw how Gaming Gladiators taking towers from their enemies. Like if you look almost every game, like minute 10, 12, there is no tier 1 towers on all 3 lanes. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I think just going to the series in general, Gaming Gladiators, they like Tofu playing this Morta because it gives Ace a good game. They can get the Enchantress you mentioned, that way they can snowball the game. It's very clear how Gaming wants to play. They're going to want to play fast, they can be greedy, they want to punish it right away. And Team Spirit, they seem a bit more flexible in what they want to do in their draft, and they kind of want to just take strategies away, and they're versatile enough to do it.
This is quite the curveball, right? Picking Pango in this slot is very early on in the draft. As much as I'm sure all the meme enjoyers out there are happy to see Quinn play the Pango for the nth time this tournament, you're effectively offering Team Spirit the possibility of truly counterpicking mid here. We've seen Laurel and a hero such as Dazzle destroy mid melee heroes. Is that a good matchup against Pango, or is he one of the heroes that can kind of float that lane?
It's pretty good. Dazzle is destroying almost every melee hero on lane, but I don't think that Team Spirit want to go for that path because that will switch them from the more of a comfort strategy. Even though I'm pretty sure they can make it, but yeah, like they're putting Laurel in a situation where I think we will need to decide with more limited like hero pool against this Pango, because you want to punish this hero, but at the same time, what kind of heroes left here to punish it from the Laurel comfort zone?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different because, like, if I'm Weaver in this situation, I don't find Pango to be an issue for me, right? Like, you can get away
Weaver
from
should be good versus Pango for sure.
Yeah, and then now you get the tree to lock down the Pango in these earlier fights, and also you get a counter pick in the laning stage, so it's already not a good Pango game by any means, but they're just showing that Quinn is just super confident on this hero, and that's about it for me on this pick.
Okay, here I can talk a lot, or I can just be quiet. I played around 80 games last month of PAC, and I enjoy this hero a lot, and I really like how Laurel played, even though he have a bit different interesting ideas on it. Like it's he's switching to physical carry later, and it's actually a pretty good answer to Pango, because for PAC you cannot win your lane, but if you do 50-50 you're very happy, and Pango one of those heroes that you can do actually 50-50 nowadays. So I believe it's a great answer in addition to against Pango. Against Muerte is tricky, but
honestly, I'm a bit worried for the lane. I feel like Quinn has played this matchup like every single pub since he picks Pango every single game. But I think Puck, he has like 0 armor, right? Once you get level 3 on Pango, you start spamming him. I think it's a very, very skill-dependent matchup. And Team Spirit strat, what I'm looking for from them is, I think they watched the Liquid series that Gladiators played, and that's the series where Gladiators looked the most vulnerable. And Liquid strategy coming into that was picking as strong a safe lane as you can. So that's why they picked the Treant. This Weaver might be carry. I'm not too sure the matchup against Lone Druid at all, but I assume it's fine for Weaver. Lone Druid's sort of a scary laner. But I'm not too sure if like Puck fits into that well, because if you're shutting down the safe lane, generally like, I don't know, like I'm not the biggest fan of the Puck hero. I think he sort of lacks some damage, and I feel like he's a hero that can actually get run over on mid.
Absolutely, that can happen. This hero cannot is not very effective into helping side lanes, so you really need to make sure your side lanes are extremely strong, because he's just, you know, getting bigger himself. And actually Puck is getting strong now more late game, so I also agree with it's kind of like might be a problem to stop Gaming Gladiators like pressure Puck, because it's not a hero that's stopping pressure for sure.
So for a lot of teams, I feel like this Lone Druid could be considered a flex here between carry and offlane. I don't think we've seen Duracho play Lone Druid this tournament at all, right?
No, not
this right in saying that. So Does that mean, what angle could Team Spirit take here? Are you trying to now specifically counter an offlane lone druid because you could put the Weaver on support like AUI was pointing out, or are you kind of committed at this point to putting a carry? Because in reality, is there a safe lane hero that can truly challenge lone druid in the lane together with Treant? Is that possible?
I think Weaver's fine, and I think you just pick the strongest offlaner here, most likely, because they're going to target it next. So, like, the Weaver tree matchup versus lone druid, it should be perfectly fine, because one rotation, or if you manage to get on top of the lone druid's real hero and you Sakuchi in with bugs, he could die pretty easily. But lone druid, no one's going to, like, just straight out CS this hero. That's why he's so strong in the laning stage. But there's definitely threat to kill him. And Weaver doesn't have problems like CSing because you have the Gymnade attack. You also have like the Sakuchi. You're going to get CSing just fine against the lone druid, at least go even with kill threat. So I think it should be good enough.
Where did this hero go? He was pretty much top tier a couple of weeks ago, and we've barely seen him on the main stage at all. So what makes this a good Beastmaster game?
And the hero got some pretty significant nerfs. I think the Hawk, especially level 1, it used to be completely OP and now it's sort of pathetic early. I think it's a really good pick here though. I think generally when if you just look at Gladiator's lineups in general, but also this one, a lot of times you can run out of damage. We've heard from the Quinn clips, like something they talk a lot about is like keeping their formation. And when you play Dota in that style, the enemy tends to, you try to burst one guy, they save him, and then you run out of damage, you don't have enough to keep going. But Beastmaster is sort of like one of those unlimited damage heroes. You can keep the fight going, you keep throwing these axes, your damage keeps ramping up, you're summoned. It's also like sort of a classic counter to Silencer, just because if you get to the levels on Beastmaster, Silencer doesn't really do anything to your summons. Curse doesn't do much damage, it's too much mana, and once you kick out a sort of weak laner like Silencer and Beastmaster, it's one of the offlaners that really snowball really hard, take over the map.
I think Willow would Phoenix be a good ban here too? I know Silence is good versus Phoenix, but I know Lone Druid hates playing versus that hero. And I think Spirit's looking for a position 4 here as well to lane with that Beastmaster most likely.
Do you even feel like part of the Silencer pick here was a protection pick, so to speak, against a potential Phoenix coming out when they picked it on Game In?
Hard to say, because like, yeah, you can silence them, but at the same time, you could buy ways to get out of it, and you don't have a good way to kill Egg, because Pango's just rolling, he can't attack. Lone Druid Bear is ineffective versus the Egg. Morta can sort of do it, but that's like going to be your support most likely, so.
Dude's banning someone now.
I don't think they have enough, but they're going to leave it anyway, so we'll see what Team Spirit wants to pick up here.
I feel like Team Spirit need a partner for Puck to make some plays on the map, because with Trent it's going to be complicated and they will need something to be happening for sure. Maybe we don't need to do anything and Gladiator's just going to run at them and we're going to just
like
take
a Skywrath maybe?
I can see Skywrath working. I think the #1 priority for Team Spirit right now is making sure the Beastmaster is a good lane. If Beastmaster does not have a good lane against Silencer, then oftentimes it can be hard to fight into, especially versus Pangolier, another matchup where, yes, you can roar his role, but if you cannot like burst him in that, then Pangolier becomes very good against Beastmaster in the fights. So I think the lane comes first, and then they can look at options after that.
Yeah, for sure. We're aiming some good carries against Beastmaster right now too, like with 1 terabyte, and this looks interesting.
I guess we'll see if the Weaver will be on that position 4 or not here, if they're going to go for a carry, because that option does still exist if they want to go it.
I wouldn't mind a Weaver carry at all. I think the lane would be pretty strong for Silencer. Weaver doesn't have to like commit. I mean, I think it might depend what carry they're predicting Gladiators to pick, but I'm just not too sure like what carry they're looking at. Honestly, in my head, I'm like some Drow Ranger, but that hero's not very strong right now. I just see Yatoro, and I'm like, oh, TI, Yatoro, Drow Ranger, it might come back.
Nobody's been picking that hero though, right? But it is a really good game for it.
Unpicked.
It's super good versus Pango. It's so annoying for Lone Druid.
I feel like it's probably not good enough of a hero, but if they would pick a new carry, like I want something like that with really high damage.
Oh, toss.
Oh, okay. Is this...
I think they're just punishing the Silencer, right? In the laning stage.
On Team Spirit, I think they've been playing Miposhka on the Tusk more so than Mira, if I'm not mistaken. Is there a world that this is a 4 Treant, or do you think you just have to put the Tusk 4 here with Beastmaster? And how good is that lane against what you're supposedly facing here, especially considering it's a blind carry so far?
I mean, I wouldn't mind a Treant on 4. I think, like, honestly, committing really hard into the Beastmaster's lane, making sure he secures it and can take over the game is a good idea. But I think Gyrocopter.
That's the old Weaver.
Really good versus Beastmaster, too.
Yeah.
His summons just die, the Hawk is free gold in the XP.
Double melee versus double range. That's scary.
Don't you guys just love when you go into the finals and there's like multiple heroes that you haven't seen for a week that come out in the very first game? Amazing stuff. So, yeah, Beast and Gyro. Dare I say it's their first appearances on the main stage? I think so.
Probably haven't seen Gyro on the main stage since TI5.
He's back. Awesome. What do you guys make of this overall? Like, do you feel like there's any sort of advantage that you can infer from specific lanes, or what you've seen from the team so far in the tournament that makes you lean one way or the other?
I think this game's going to be completely decided in Spirit safe lane. Like, I think they picked this Weaver and Treant just to be strong, and Lone Druid is honestly sort of the same. Like, this hero really wants to win his lane. Depending on which way that lane goes, I think he'll determine the tempo for the post-lane phase.
I also feel the same about Gaming Gladiator's safe lane as well. If it doesn't go well and Gyro doesn't have a good laning stage and Collapse can manage to get kills with Mira, that could change Spirit's momentum a lot with this beast.
Yeah, very, very depending on lanes right now. How the lanes go will decide a lot in this game.
So how's the mid lane matchup going to go, Dendi?
To me, it's maybe a little bit favorable for Pango, but it's still a pretty good game for Puck. But it's pretty risky in my eyes to pick Puck so early. Like, usually you want to see more heroes. There's still 2 silences, so you want to buy a defensive item, which slows down other aggressive items that you might go for. So yeah, a bit scary for Puck.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really worried for Lao this game. I feel like the ganks from Tofu can come in. Lone Druid's a hero, he can just pull away with his bear. You can sort of leave him alone. And hopefully, that's why I feel like if they don't win the Yatoro Matoshka lane, it's going to bleed really hard into mid. They can't keep the Morta there.
What do you guys make of the Tusk here that Spirit ended up going for into Silencer, who's notoriously a really good anti-save hero, and a big part of the Tusk is saving allies with Snowball? Do you think that's maybe a little bit on the risky side, or?
I think he wants to kill the Silencer.
Yeah,
I think this is a hero that can just get on him and kill him right away. It's going to be more of an aggressive Tusk team instead of a defensive one.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to double jump with Puck. That's where we're going to be their target number 1.
All right. Thank you guys very much for your insights. We are ready to get into the game, but before that, we're going to a coach's interview with Silent from Team Spirit.
Oh my god, it's almost time!
Arranca partido.
Тише, мальчик, тише, мальчик.
"30 seconds.
That's right, it's time to make our grand finals head underway. On one side, we have a team that is absolutely the best team of the year, but on the other side, the strongest team of the tournament. On one side, we have 3-time major winners, and on the other side, TI winners, but only one can claim the Aegis.
Time to man.
I've seen a lot of TIs, Cap. We are going back 12 editions of this right now. We have seen lower bracket runs. We've seen upper bracket runs. We have seen First Bloods. We have seen Roshans. But one thing is absolutely clear to me right now at TI12, in the heart of Dota in Seattle, these two teams are undoubtedly the best 2 teams in the world right now. And both of them are absolutely terrifying.
And that's exactly why Gaming Gladiators stacked the bounty runes, but they failed to be able to claim the first blood. They wanted to be able to get that early momentum over a team that is so scary. I mean, Team Spirit have demolished every team that has stood in their way. Gaming Gladiators, though, have had to make the long run through the lower bracket. And there's something special about that lower bracket momentum.
You cannot underestimate how much this team has gone through, especially going to their 4th Valve event grand final of the year. No team has made a complete sweep, and usually the team that is favored in that sense can't even make that type of run, so this team cannot be underestimated. At the same time, all of us here watching, when you see Yatoro come out of that player walkway with a shaved head, the amount of fear that instills into you, the amount this man is willing to sacrifice to claim a second Aegis and join that limited pantheon of 2-time TI winners. you can't not help but be a little afraid of what he's willing to do here. In a best of 5, both these teams are capable of anything. The greatest question, however, if you've watched this lower bracket run from Gaming, is can Team Spirit put a stop to the speed and the tempo in which they are playing these games? Because right now, nobody across all of those series has been able to do it. Now, a lot of these games have not gone past the 25-minute mark, so you need to slow it down. You need to play your game, or at least take it back to them. And if there is one team in the world that can accomplish that, it is Team Spirit, who have shown that they are no slouches when it comes to the first 10 minutes, particularly the laning phase.
Yes, this laning phase is going to be the ultimate test for this best of 5. It's going to be a long journey to get through this finals. And who walks away winning this laning phase could just end up winning the entire thing, as Maposhka will end up going down. Tofu finally claims first blood for Gaming Gladiator.
And this is a familiar story. Acceleration for Ace on the off-lane lone Drew. This is a hero that has demolished the lower bracket along with all the buildings in those series. A scary hero to give a lead off to here, especially when once more Gaming have a lot of tempo that can just go with Ace, go through these objectives, play with that Bear's timings. But I like what Spirit have brought out here in Game 1, right? These are a lot of heroes that are not afraid to skirmish early and take it straight back to
the death against Tofu. Will end up hoping to get the kill onto Tofu, but will end up falling into the end. And Ace is gladly going to be able to dive a bit more onto Maposhka. They're definitely winning this lane. They're walking away with it a bit.
And that's going to be fast over corrosion for the Bear. That's going to give him a lot of chase down potential in this lane.
He's still going to find it. Maposhka, he has that extra little bit of heal. They end up dying the Bear. That's going to be 300 gold over to Yatoro, but Ace can keep up that pressure with a fresh resummon.
Big turnaround for Yatoro, honestly. This lane was looking a little grim if you get Ace to that fast over corrosion, which has just taken over a lot of these lanes. All of a sudden, you get a Bear kill back. A lot of golden XP for Yatoro. He can start to regain momentum in this lane. This is a very strong lane for Team Spirit. Tree Weaver, there's not much that beats this, so this just shows how strong this offlane is for Gaming as well. They're
it would be such a massive win if they could actually bring down Ace, but Yatoro's going to have to try and go for Tofu instead, who gave up his own life to be able to kill the bug on Ace to protect his core. He does die, but if Yatoro gets caught by an entangle here, it's going to be a heavy punish, but not afraid, turns around, battles back against that Bear, knowing Ace still has some time before he has another resummon available.
Still a lot of gold going to Yatoro here as he takes a net worth lead. Good sign for Team Spirit is, I mean, Weaver has to be one of the fastest carries in this meta. I think CK is the other one that I had point to. Of course, Bristleback, he's a pseudo carry getting banned out. This is a hero that Team Spirit first picked for a reason. If they get him to a good position, he can go and defend all these towers. You can take every single fight with this carry hero, try and match Duracio's pace, where I almost feel like it doesn't matter what hero Duracio is playing. This guy is going to run at you. He's going to join all the skirmishes with Quinn. You have to be ready for the 5-man collapse at a certain point. Either get some trades, be ready to defend them at the towers. The Beastmaster can trade on the map. That's another objective that Team Spirit can look for as this game progresses.
I feel like out of all the players on Gaming Gladiators, it's definitely Duracio.
That's a resummon.
Yeah, it is. Ace, he'll lose yet another Bear, and Yatoro's just climbing up the network chart now. A laning phase that started off a bit bad for them, but now they've got a full 20-second window with no Bear, so they should easily be able to get most of the CS. And also, the bounty. Man, he is sitting at 3K net worth already, way ahead of anybody else in this game.
It adds up real fast. These Bears are worth a lot. It's also extra damage going into Ace. You're not healing while the Bear's on cooldown. There's a lot going wrong in this offlane for Gaming right now for the hero that's supposed to give them that lead, at least comparatively to those other games, right? This is still a very even game, but if you watched any of these series yesterday, particularly the Azure one, I guess if you're not down 5K at the 5-minute mark, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, seriously, you cannot let Gaming Gladiators run away with the laning phase. And that, when we were talking about it backstage, and so many other people that we talked to backstage, everybody was saying, Team Spirit is not going to get run over the laning phase. Don't let that happen. You can make these kind of rotations, pick up on the snowball. They have 3 heroes to all bang onto this Jarcopter, but it's not quite good enough. Tofu protecting them nicely. They'll get some damage in return, but Team Spirit are going to remain relatively healthy.
Nice missile dodge on the snowball. Mira, he's going to be able to make some really nice plays this game. This Tusk is a hero that can not only give him the physical burst to go through the Bear at the later stages, but the snowball dodge on heroes like Gyro and Pango that have to throw out their spells at the start of the fight. It can get you your core BKBs off. It can stall out the fight, get you a roar off of, collapse coming back out of it. Something that could be really instrumental as this game progresses here. And once more, Spirit making the first moves here. Maposhka has been really active in this laning phase, trying to skew it as much as possible to Team Spirit's advantage. give them that breathing room. And of course, this is a Dream Protector lineup. We're talking about these objectives, something gaming's focused on. If you can keep your towers up, living armor.
The double slows are going to help here, and Quinn's going to come back into this lane, sees an opportunity, but go as well. The two supports are already dead, though, and there's no way for this puck to change the matchup now.
+2 int on the board for Celery. Glaive's already getting some extra work done. We'll leave solo lanes on these sides, so Yatoro going to try and make the most of it. He gets rooted.
Please, I'm terrified beyond the
you know he wanted another bear kill on this lane, man. He has been taking it to ace. Level advantage already going Yatoro's way. It looked like it'll just be the Dragon Lance, so defensive-oriented builder from Yatoro. Get the high HP up. Don't get bursted in this game. Man, he is just chunking ace down. This is a roam opportunity up here, right? Like, this is a great hero for Team Spirit to roam on. Is keep chipping Ace's HP pool, because every time you kill this bear, he has to resummon. He's susceptible again, and you don't really take the ult too early.
Laurel, he's going to try and bait it out here by using the illusion rune. The first power rune was an illusion rune. Not necessarily one that you feel the best about, but he's going to try and bait it out by showing his illusion mid and seeing if they can catch something in this top lane. Tofu, he's going to be marked there. Couldn't get there in time to snag away the wisdom rune, but they can get this one kill. Ace is around. Laurel, he'll back away. So will Ace. He's ready for the push that's coming in. In fact, he knows he's kind of surrounded by heroes, so he wants to play defensively. But Laurel already back to the mid lane. Doesn't want to miss out on too much of his CS.
Nice heads up smoke by Spirit. They are a team that will happily smoke to any of these wisdom runes, and if you study them, you know it's coming. The 7, the 14, the 21 especially is one of their big power moves. They really want this XP advantage, and again, rotating to Ace's lane, I think, is a recipe for success. The other move you're going to make is to collapse when that helm is up to try and push the tower or kick the Rachu out of the lane. I feel like every time you make one of these aggressive moves on Gaimin in the early game, you're pretty happy with it, right? Because it means they're not going to ace, they're not pushing your tower, and then things like this can start to happen where another kill for Yatoro. He is absolutely out of control.
Oh, and their carry's going to be in trouble as well. Both cores in big trouble here on the side of Gaming Gladiators, and no TP rotations coming in. So they're just going to run down Duraccio. Do they dive the tower, though? It's a bit scary, and they've run out of resources. So Duraccio lives, but only on the sliver of HP, and it's not doing him much good either. He's going to have to make a run back to the fountain, very likely.
See the side lane pressure here. This is another thing that's causing Gaimin some issues right now because they want to rotate towards mid, play around Quinn. So every time you bring supports off the side lanes, it's up to Spirit to recreate the pressure there and not let Quinn get away with these skirmishes with the power runes. However, Gaming rotating supports mid will secure that power rune for Quinn. Now it's a question of what he can do with it here. Can you rotate into Yatoro's lane? Is this Weaver killable in the very early game? Falling plus some roots, it's doable. Back, they're just going to bring everybody up here. Try and go on ace again. This is when the lone druid is susceptible.
Perfect opportunity with the bear now being put on cooldown. They have done serious damage to Ace, killing him so many times, and even maybe catching Tofu here. Celery's going to try and slow him down, but that's two supports without a real stun. They're just going to back away, though. Bottom lane, that was the rotation coming out from Quinn. Mira left a bit alone here as the Beastmaster went for the Lotus instead. Good separation there with Shard, and Quinn doesn't feel like diving too deep.
This is the helm coming out finished for collapse. So now you have a second pressure point on the map with your Team Spirit. You've gone through this early game in a pretty decent spot. Yatoro well ahead of the pack. So if he wants to rotate, play with collapse, start pushing some of these towers, you can start to take Gaming's game plan against them here. As they are still struggling to keep Ace in that offlane. This bear has just been exploited in the early game. So much extra golden XP.
Gets back to the safety of the trees. Gaming Gladiators are here in force, but fortunately the Pango versus the Beastmaster doesn't necessarily leave you the most options. Can't really put to use that Rolling Thunder super well. He's going to try for it anyway, perhaps. Going to force out the Primal Roar. Collapse now going to try and back away with that extra bit of movement speed. Does get hit by the Dark Hunter ultimate. That's going to slow him down enough. Good snowball pickup from Mira. That buys him a couple of seconds, but Quinn is going to follow that ball. He is perfectly going to be able to hit them both. The Swashbuckle isn't enough, though. And Duraccio and Quinn are now in trouble. Caught by the coil. Laurel going to lock him down, and there's not much these supports can do to stop it. In fact, they're just going to feed right alongside the other two of Gaming Gladiators as Team Spirit in a 5-man move sweep over Gaming Gladiators, run them down underneath their towers, and even through the portal, Tofu will be denied that exit. Instead, he'll head back to the fountain after a triple kill for Yatoro.
And Yatoro straight back to the top lane, doesn't miss a beat. The downside of all that off lane going wrong for Gaming is Ace didn't even have a bear during all that, so you cannot bring the numbers to that fight. Just an overextension on collapse that Yatoro was happy to join and get the big Swarm turnaround kill. Of course, Laurel with a beautiful coil, just lock him in place. Let the Weaver do the damage here. This is very deep.
Yeah, this
is almost, it feels like a forced play.
move.
Yeah, forced play, if anything, right? And you know the snowball save is going to come out here. This is what I'm saying. You disjoint the missile, you disjoint some of the gyro damage. That turnaround is deadly. Treant's going to give you sustain to just push through a lot of this poke damage. You're also missing the support ults. Forza and Silencer are not too strong.
Oh, got the quick silence on him. If they can keep him in place, the dead shot moves him back in. They have to use the global, but it will get the job done. A huge kill streak going the way of Ace. His network just shot right back up as he got 587 gold for just himself off that kill.
I mean, we're 11 minutes in the game, and Yatoro already had a 6x streak. So Ace absolutely happy to pick that up. That's the power of the global versus the Weaver before he has any sort of dispel item, which looks like it's going to become very late in this game as Yatoro's opted for a Deso buildup. Another reason that kill was pretty valuable, right? You slow down the Deso, limit the charges you can get in these early exchanges. The slower it is, the worse it's going to be. This pace is very strong right now. Of course, Dyrachyo, we have not seen gyro too much this tournament, but the big upside for this hero is the stacking, right? It's not something we've seen gaming go back to a lot as the game's been very fast, but this triangle is getting stacked and is waiting for gyro to come and collect. Other Ancients are also doubled up right now. This is a lot of golden XP sitting in the bank for gaming if they can move Dyrachyo over there, start to clear through with the max flat cannon. Something that Team Spirit might think about contesting depending on how fast they can push these towers down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that in this game, it's funny, but I feel like the game plan is kind of swamped where Team Spirit want to be able to run over Gaming Gladiators, take these outer towers so they can disrupt that ancient farming. They're going to go straight to it. No hesitancy whatsoever. Immediate quote, but they don't really have the strength to be able to bring it down just yet. Protected by all of Gaming Gladiators, who, again, they saw Team Spirit in the bottom lane show up as 5. They will do the same here in the mid lane. Quinn looks to find his mark, looks to see if he can drive right on through and straight to Maposhka. They'll find him here in the corner, clear out most of the trees, but Laurel's actually going to bounce back in here.
They're going to retake the fight.
Maposhka's going to stand and fight as best he can, but the off Ace immediately. Laurel trying to make his way out. And the silence, maybe he gets clipped again. He's dead. Couldn't jump to his orb in time. Yeah, they get Ace, but it does cost them quite a bit as Laurel was a big piece of the momentum for Team Spirit here.
Pofu coming up big. Calling is just going to be their biggest way to deal with puck in these team fights. If you can land it, it's probably a dead puck. You dead shot back into it. It's an extended duration here. Once more, that fight got dragged out. Really nice disengage from Spirit. Draw them back up the ramp, waste this Rolling Thunder, chasing Maposhka on the cliff. Yatoro gets another pretty good angle. You can see the aggressiveness they're trying to play with this Beastmaster right now. They're taking the push through gaming, not playing defense at all. And once more, the aggression continues. No Rolling Thunder for Quinn right here.
Global sounds to try and protect him. Another swashbuckle up in a second. He's actually going to turn and fight as best as possible, but the puck is going to be the end of Quinn. I thought he was going to swashbuckle down and away from the trees. Maybe that was an error.
This is looking all Spirit in this first 50 minutes here. They're getting a lot for their Beast, the start for Yatoro, and now it's just going to have to come back down to the flat cannon, clearing through the Ancients to put Dyrachyo in a spot where he can start to take these fights. This is a position we've not seen gaming in a while, right? In this tournament especially. They are usually the ones with a very strong lead going into this 15-20 minute mid-game period. All of a sudden they're on the back foot. Double damage definitely going to help accelerate Dyrachyo here. We talked about the resiliency of this team, right? There's a reason they're here in this grand finals. There's a reason they've been in a lot of them too. This is not a team that can only play from ahead. They're gonna have to show some resiliency here and playing a little bit from behind, particularly with, I mean, maybe Ace's times, but honestly, he's found a lot given his start. I'm surprised at how rich he is.
Yeah, he's got 3 deaths. I think his bear has died like 5 different times in this game, but still second in the network chart. Still though, Spirit clearly holding the tempo control of this game. They're up by 3K. They've got to be feeling pretty good about it. Even if they couldn't stop the gyrocopter from clearing out stacks, they don't have to do it the first time around. Just taking these outer towers and trying to scrunch in the map a little bit.
Yeah, take advantage of the fact that Dyrachyo's not ready. And it is dead even. And that would have been my prediction before this series as well.
Goes to show.
I mean, respecting the Ace timing as well, too.
Yes.
Like this Radiance on the Bear, we have seen them do an incredible amount of work with it, and it's coming soon.
Big Team Spirit really want to finish off this mid-tower before those timings reach the Aghanim Scepter on Dyrachyo, the Radiance on Ace here.
And these are acceleration items. That's the thing. If you give Game time to get to their big farm items in the Radiance and the Aghanim Scepter on Dyrachyo, those items let you fight, but they also let you just clear the map. So holding these tower-ups, if you can limit the space they can use these farming items on in terms of the sides of the map, that's going to feel really nice with this Treant Protector lineup. And Poshka did not go for living armor points early, hasn't even needed them at this point. And all 3 tier 1s are up. Another aggressive
bottom lane,
play.
Tofu with the calling, trying to protect Mira just outside of that silence, use the snowball, trying to get some distance. Nice dead shot though, actually hit Laurel in the background.
Yeah, but the exchange on the other side of the map, Ace going down to Yatoro again with this Desolator. Instant reveal, gets 2 charges on it, plus a bear kill as he was just pushing towards that Radiance. 700 off. And this tower dies. This is an influential tower for what Gaming want to do on the map, because now both Ancients are exposed and Yatoro straight in there. He would have liked to have found that stack, but he will be happy to take the net worth away from Duraccio, a hero that just needs these camps up.
Now you're going to have to need a bit of a backup plan if you're Gaming Gladiators. You no longer have that good control over the double Ancient stacks like you're talking about.
And look at this fast shard for Yatoro too.
Yeah.
This is where Weaver's just absolutely terrifying. You're getting the extra Geminate hit off the Satuchi, going through everybody with an early Desolator. These heroes just don't have the armor to deal with this right now.
Now,
you don't burst him.
He wants to play super aggressive and like get on top of people, which against these kind of silences could play against him. That's why it's very important for them to get this Aegis, get this second life. It gives them time to get the BKB up on Yatoro, so he can't get punished just yet.
I mean, this man has absolutely no chill. He's not here to win an Aegis. He's here to take it away from you. And right now, he is controlling the tempo of this game. Of course, gaming into a smoke that yields nothing, right? They are nowhere here in time, and still missing those big core items to take the fight anyway. You're still 300 gold off this Radiance for Ace. That's your big 5v5 timing. Just an awkward point. Yatoro playing this game way too fast right now, and the Beastmaster from Collapse speeding everything up. Helm of the Overlord is already done, by the way, so this map pressure is going to escalate.
Gaming Gladiators really not able to do much besides just kind of make sure Duraccio doesn't get smoke ganked. Playing around him heavily. Here comes the pressure from Team Spirit though.
Radiant's done. This is a good point to get it done if you want to defend this tier 1 mid.
A really fast time lapse there. You could realize Yatoro, I think, felt like he was overextended there. He gets caught once by the silences. There are chances he just